was 3 years old, my father told me, go sit in the corner. Then he slapped me across the face. Once I was 3 years old. It was a big world, but it felt so small and cold. By 5, if my crying wouldn't stop, his boot would make me fold. By 6, I had a girlfriend, holding hands in the park. We exchanged stones worth more than me, trying to find a little light after the world got dark. By 7, it was the leather, the stinging of his belt. I had to bear myself before the burning blows were dealt. I can still remember how that burning redness felt. He closed the door behind him so no eye would ever see, and no ear would ever hear the screams he tore from me. By 10, the hurt went deeper. Names I won't repeat. A stranger in the dark, no chance to fight, no way to retreat. 100 shillings in my hand to keep the silence sealed, and no one I could trust to tell, so the wound stayed unhealed. Just a boy trying to stay standing on his own 2 feet. Years later, when I told her, my mother said to me, thank God it didn't happen in my apartment, in my home. She thanked her God for walls she did not ask at all. Once I was 11 years old, my daddy told me, your friend's to blame for everything you've come to be. Don't ever bring him through my door again. Once I was 11 years old. At 12, the world shifted to dream moms in my life, feeling all the damage of the years of constant strife. They showed me another world, a life I'd never known, a door into a softer place, a chance to find my own. But by 13, I was drinking, passed out on the school floor, looking for an exit, looking for an open door. At 14, I grew up fast, the streets became my home, selling what I had to, feeling utterly alone. But life keeps moving faster than the tears in your eyes. By 17, I heard my firstborn's tiny little cries. I was 20 in a cell, watching stone walls turn to gray, counting every second, wishing life away. But Ning came through the bars to hold me there each day. Ning's name across my heart in ink that wouldn't wash away. At 22, my mother cut the line between us in a single call, and love that crossed an ocean fell against an Austrian wall. I never heard her voice again, I never could explain. The boy that once was 3 was small and cold again. At 23, another life, a second child was born, a chance to be a better man, though I was tired and worn. But monsters circled close to her in a world so small and cold, and I could not protect her. That's the failure I still hold. At 24, I found my way, working the nursery, teaching little children how a happy life should be. By 26, I said I do, thought the storm had passed. At 30, I was teaching at the boarding school at last. But at 31, the marriage broke, the papers they were signed, leaving all the broken pieces of the life I designed. Now I'm looking at the future, trying to break the heavy chains, trying to find a way to live despite the years of pain. But my stepson came with me, she wanted a new start, and I took him as my own with what was left of my heart. Soon I'll be 50 years old, my father say to me, you think on it, why I struck you, and let your sister be. He'll lay the weight upon me, demand I name the blows, but how the heart survives it, only heaven knows. At 54, my daughter found her way back home to me. She forgave the Since I was 3 years old.